Shirley here with Sirius Dallas Moon. This is Mercury Hour. Mercury is ingressed into Capricorn, and the ascendant is ruled again by Saturn, and the midheaven is 23 degrees Scorpio. So, ooh, Mercury is ruling over the moon at 25 degrees Gemini in Sedna. So, I have to take a moment to honor Sedna. And Sedna in my life, Sedna is a goddess that is associated with marine life and the moon. The moon is associated with memory and speech through the emotion. As the moon now sextiling my own Mercury in Aries, in the sign where they speak about it, even though they can't speak about it, um, what prompted me to press record is basically this lady talking about the president, in this case of United States, going after the citizens. And as a person that tends to political assassination prevention, I know that that comes from the intelligence rather than the citizens. Um, if it came from the citizens, then the president could say, well, I don't own an oil company that's trying to reassemble. Maybe I own dividends in that, but to give you sovereign energy, I would need to deal with the monopoly of the other 33. Okay, if Standard Oil was dissected to 1 to the 34, and we got, let's say, a president that says, I am the owner of the wealth. Fantastic. Then they mean that would be 1 of the 34. It means that he still has to deal with the monopoly. And so if assassination threats came from the citizens, then the leaders could simply say, hey, those are the people that are persecuting me to prosecute you. In fact, Prime Minister Maloney, that tends to curating pedophilia while not legalizing pedophilia, is making the point of interference that can allow us to do just that. And, okay, because as I have identified correctly that we're coming to the age of guillotine, I also identified that Off With Their Heads is an MK Ultra Alice in Wonderland programming. And, and if we want to deprogram or to get out of the extortion cults, whether by oil or by rejuvenating energies that still run on the extortion cults, okay? And this is why we don't have free energy, although we have free energy. Okay, that's basically. Um, if we want to address that, then we have to address the Rizonatat of extortion cults, and that would mean understanding why did Marc Dutroux become Marc Dutroux, and what would be the real conditions that would make Marc Dutroux not kidnap and harm more people. And the fact that it's possible. Let's say tomorrow we assassinated Marc Dutroux, who we wouldn't be assassinating? All the people that slept with the children. Let's say tomorrow we have a list of all the people that slept with the children. We assassinate all the people that slept with the children. Who we wouldn't be assassinating? Standard Oil. Rothschilds. Rubber bank, rubber bank, rubber bank for me. Okay? And so we have quite significant amount of people. And here is the thing, Capricorn is about achievement. And if people are thinking to off with their heads and kill a lot of people, their mind would convince them that they made an achievement. And they would have to rationalize to themselves that they've been successful. But they would still be setting themselves up for another 248 years of going exactly to the same time, same situation. And then he will say, it's the times. No, it's not. Now, as an astrologer, I say, this segment of years is a Pluto return. And Pluto return, just like Saturn. Saturn return doesn't mean a person is going to die. They can, but it doesn't mean. If they're attuned and correct the Saturn, then they're not going to die. Unless many other indications and things, and I don't know. But a Pluto return doesn't mean an empire is going to die. If they tend to extortion cults and eliminate extortion cults, then they can have another 12 millennia. And Sedna is about that 12 millennia. Abolishing extortion cults grants something that can last for 12 millennia, which is the cycle of Sedna. And like I said, I opened this with the fact that in scientifically many things seemed impossible and now they're possible. For example, previously in the World War, we didn't have people that are being genocided broadcasting on the internet, so that the people that they're supposed, the infiltrators of their regime genocide, could follow and see, wait a second, is Randa still alive? Oh, she has something with the liver. Oh, wait a second, what's happening there? Oh, they're harvesting the oil, but it's famine. Oh no, they're doing the 2030 agenda on them. They have a cashless society. Uh, they have all the technology, but they were being genocide. What is going on here? That would not have been possible in World War II. Okay? And when it comes to the freedom of speech, wait a second. The citizens are the ones that can warn that somebody might be eliminated. The elimination itself, it doesn't happen from the people, but from the intelligence. This is why the prime minister or president is extorted to persecute and silence the very people that could save his life. And since childhood in those societies, treason in everything is not only welcomed but a must, and this creates this existential crisis that's prolonged, and then they use external persecution to create this internal cohesion based on trauma. For example, around 7th of October, I could go to a woman in the bus, and then she had an argument and so on, and I would say, listen, let's say we talk about Me Too things. I said, listen, in the showers and the lines to the showers, the men, the women, they were naked to be exterminated, to be working in labor camps. It didn't matter what one wear. Are we going to fight about who is wearing the right clothes or not? And these are the things that are made possible within, if I would try to talk to this woman without being persecuted, it would not be possible. But if to begin with we have a culture that is not rapey, then she would not be indoctrinated to think that a woman that wears, I don't know, a spaghetti shirt is a whore, or a woman that's being trafficked to wear clothes of a nun, but is actually being trafficked to be the supposed whore that is meant to extort the leader to go against the people. Not the other way around. We are marketed that the women were whoring themselves to save the empire. Not just Jews, Chinese, and everyone. And this is actually wrong. Because the extortion is to control and depopulate and enslave the people. Now, as per this news, who are the ones that will execute the prime minister? The extortion calls of the oil companies. Why would they do such a thing? Because it's not acquiescing to their conglomerate. Who are leaders that receive the most backlash? In Japan, was a leader that right-wing, with all the atrocities. Probably, would it be an Epstein list? I don't know. Would it be a Japanese Epstein list? Maybe. Not impossible. He was speaking against a WHO. He was speaking. Now, what does it tell us about political assassination? Is it coming from the people? No. So why silence the people? It's going against the interest of a leader to silence the people. In fact, Israel knows this. This is why in Israel, the Ministry of Culture would donate money to make movies that even these movies went against Israel. And a lot of right-wingers say, how come they give freedom to speech to this, to that? Because this would prevent political assassination. It was in the interest of the leaders and the ministers. Because if you couldn't talk about it, what do you do when you can't talk? You begin to act. So if I could talk, let's say, about housing, could talk to a person and say, hey, I don't know why I don't know what were you thinking to yourself, but I'm this person and like their own life, their own peace. All this rape-like culture doesn't fit at my doorway. This is why I live alone. And everything would stop. I would live perfect, zero attacks, zero spiritual attacks, perfect. I would say we got the thing sorted out. He came from I don't know what culture. With me, it doesn't fit. I'm not telling people that say, oh, but this creates a deep bonds between people. Like, I'm not telling you not to stay in God. But I have to have my life. And I would be able to live, and then I would be able to consolidate wealth and maybe buy property, maybe this property, maybe another property. And dig up some half moons and go to the Dead Sea and travel. No problem. But the minute I have problem even to be in my own body because of those things, what does it force me to do? To take action. So what is causing me these problems? How do we eliminate that? Because I cannot live like that. Now, if people don't know and they see a policy, so they say, okay, who made the policy? The government. I'll throw the government. It's funded by the oil companies. The people don't know that. This is why Gen Zers are outthrowing government of the government of the government of the government. But will they be better? will they dissolve the conglomerate that made all these policies that they off with the heads of the government for? Would this resolve the Hamas-Spartan cult-like community problem? Now, Gen Zers are not to blame. Gen Zers have lived through the Adam fuckery. And here is the thing. People to begin with wouldn't be talking if it wouldn't bother with their lives. Sovereignty is a big deal. Because what violates sovereignty, it harms the well-being, it creates depression, it creates behavioral problems. When a person doesn't have their sovereignty honored, then this creates a lot of problems. And these problems create a lot of problems for all those who violate sovereignty.